Advanced Studio Classroom is on the air. Welcome to our second day on our article about pet care and pets in the air, so stay tuned. So here we are in the studio waiting to talk to you today about pets in the air. And I am Doris, and with me...
Hi, I'm Hazel.
And I'm David.
And all of you out there, thanks for joining us. It's good to have you here today. Hazel, I hope the people that are listening in love pets.
I hope so too, but even if you don't care so much about pets, you can still learn English with us today.
Well, that's true, because there's some very good idioms in this lessons.
Yeah, some really good ones. Yeah.
But, pets, it says we should give them love, but they give you love in return, don't they?
There are a lot of perks to having a pet, and that's what we said yesterday. And we're going to talk about some people that maybe love their pets a little too much, it seems.
Right.
But, sometimes people, they don't realize it when they buy a pet or get one given to them. They say, oh, yeah, I'll take it. And they just commit that I'll just see how it goes. Don't do that. If you want to take a pet, adopt it just like you would somebody in your family.
Right. And then you're responsible for it, so you need to
take care of it.
Right. So think about it before you get a pet. Don't just take any animal, but maybe research.
Right.
Yeah. And actually, to this point, I had a friend who, when I was living in the States, who we were walking, doing some shopping for some food. We saw this little place that was selling turtles, little baby turtles, just in a bucket. They're called red-eared snappers is the name of the turtle. So my buddy, he just buys one, just kind of like as a joke, right? He comes home, and I was home. I wasn't with him when he was shopping. He comes home, and he says, hey, we got a turtle. And we're like, ha, 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 you got a turtle. Oh, okay, cool. It'll be the house pet. Turns out, after we do some research, that this thing can live up to, 60 years.
Yeah.
And possibly outlive all of us. And, that turtle is still alive in Philadelphia, staying with my friend who actually is taking very good care of him.
They inherited the turtles.
Yeah, but it's like we bought this thing like as a joke, and now it's bigger. It's like, it's 10 times bigger than it was when we got it, and it's still going.
See, that's the same kind of turtle I found on the bike trail. It was just so small and cute, and then I took it home and I bought a little aquarium, and then I read about it. It said don't ever put them in the river because they're not from this area. So I couldn't put it back, and then it kept getting bigger. I kept getting bigger and bigger tanks.
What'd you do with it then?
Finally, when I moved, I gave it to a restaurant, but as a pet. Okay. They kept it as a pet. They already had one turtle, so they kept this one too. But they're so cute when they're little, and they
so
swim
cute.
around.
Yeah.
But then when they get bigger, it's a bigger responsibility.
Oh, yeah.
Well, just like babies are kind of cute when they're little. Isn't that cute? But they get bigger, and you got to take care of them and spend more money on them. Don't you? Yeah. So if you're going to travel, and people do nowadays, they go on vacations, and of course some of us would teach out here. We go back to the States or other places, and most people want to take a pet, take a vacation. They say, what am I going to do with my cat and my dog? Now, if you take your cat or your dog with you, then you have a hard time where you're going to take it. A lot of places won't allow pets. So what are you going to do with the pet? So usually you can't take the pet with you when you go on a vacation. Isn't that true?
Often you can't, but thanks to the internet, it's very easy to look around in an area and see which hotels will accept pets and what the requirements are. So it's a little bit easier, but it will probably cost you a little bit more.
True.
Right. And the animals themselves may not like it that much as you think they have them with you, but they kind of like the same place that they're used to, and they might get lost, or you open the door and they run out or something, can't find them. It's kind of dangerous, isn't it?
It could be. So it might be a good idea to keep your pet at home. Today's article is talking about people that think they need the emotional support of their pet, and so they want to take it with them when they travel just to give them security.
Well, there's some famous movie actors and actresses that always took their pets with them, and they kept them, and somebody took care of them behind the stage, and they spend a lot of money on doing that, but they're always taking their dog or cat with them. But most people don't do that. But there are sometimes, if you're going to move to another location, you need to take your pet, and if you're going to go on the airplane, well, I kind of hate to put the pet in the baggage compartment because a lot of times they don't live through that. So what are you going to do? Let's find out.
Okay.
Where we're going to start today, Hazel?
Well, we're going to read with the trouble with pets on planes. That's on page 23, the first column.
The trouble with pets on planes. If you've been an airline passenger in, say, the last 5 years or so, you've likely noticed an increase in the number of passengers carrying emotional support animals, dogs, cats, and miniature horses. One woman tried to board with a peacock. The peacock wasn't allowed, but it did become a social media sensation. It gets worse. On United Airlines, a passenger tried to board with an emotional support animal that also had its own second emotional support animal. On Alaska Airlines, the airline had to choose between an emotional support cat and a teenaged paying customer who was allergic to it. The cat won.
So there is a lot of trouble. There's problems if you want to take your pet on a plane. Now, they did mention here some things about airlines have certain restrictions, and I think they don't all have the same ones, so you have to find out if you have a pet. You have to check before you get down to the airport.
Yeah. And if you don't, you might notice you might have some serious trouble, especially with how strict airline security is nowadays.
Right.
What this is talking about, too, is emotional support animals. So some people feel like, oh, maybe I can't fly unless I have the security of my pet with me. And so more and more the last 5 years, if you've flown, you might even have been on a plane where somebody's got a pet with them because they say they need it, and it's the doctor's orders. The doctor says they can take a pet on a plane. They need that.
Well, Hazel, they talk about this emotional support animals things, and it's maybe not just for the plane, but some people say, oh, I can't sleep without my cat or dogs, and I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, and so I won't be able to sleep well if I don't have my cat with me. That seems a little strange to me.
Well, it does, but there are people like that, and maybe there are some people that really do need that, but a lot of people, maybe they think, oh, it would be fun to take my pet.
Or a blind person, they might have to have a seeing-eyed dog or something.
And that's called a service dog, which is different.
Yeah, this is different from service animals, like Doris and Hazel were just saying. Like, if you're blind and you have a dog that kind of helps you,
that's different. You can see that.
That's very different. But this is more so talking about people that have like psychological issues that they say this pet helps them with. And I mean, some people.
But Dave, here it says dogs and cats and miniature horse. I have never seen a miniature horse on a plane.
Nor have I seen a peacock, which is what one woman tried to board with.
Can you imagine emotional issues with a peacock?
An emotional support peacock seems really out of line.
And I've heard of ducks and alligators and all kinds of things.
So, I can see little bunny rabbits, maybe.
Well, I would say this. If you really need a support animal, don't go out and buy an alligator or something or a pony.
Drive your car. Don't take the plane.
Or get a very small animal or something, maybe a miniature dog.
People even have little miniature rats and everything
or
else.
A stuffed animal.
Maybe an emotional support stuffed animal would be better.
They got some cute ones now that you can turn them on and they purr and they pet.
They have little robotic ones.
Don't get a real animal.
No.
Anyway, the airline companies have been having difficulty with this because when people try to get on with a duck or a peacock or something strange.
Peacock, I don't know how you can manage to get a peacock, and they like to spread their feathers and make noise.
I didn't even know you could have a pet peacock, honestly.
I didn't know either.
I just, like the point where you're actually trying to get that thing on an airplane, for me, that's the fact that you own one is already crazy.
That's true. It's a
Well, it
social
says
media sensation, that's for sure.
It says it gets worse. The second paragraph says
that's
it's
hard to
worse.
believe. But I don't really think. Have you ever seen a little miniature horse on a plane? I never have.
I've never even seen any of these animals on a plane. Very seldom would I even see a dog, and when I do, it's a very small dog in
very
a
small
little carrying
ones, right.
case.
Yeah, and I actually didn't know that miniature horses were real until I read this article.
Really?
Yes, I did not. I read that, and I'm like, what? You're kidding me. And I looked it up, and then there are all these, little miniature horses.
You know, David, that's ironic because you're from Pennsylvania, right?
Yeah, and I never saw one. I
My
saw
mom
horses,
took me to a
ponies.
place in Pennsylvania, and we saw a little miniature horse show, which
Really?
was cute, very cute.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Oh my goodness!
But it wasn't on a plane.
It wasn't
That's
on a plane,
different,
right?
you
Yeah.
know.
Can you imagine that? But most of the people, when you talk about their pets, we're usually talking about dogs and cats. But sometimes people do have pet birds, pet rabbits, and some of these other strange things.
Peacock wasn't allowed on the plane, but it does
course
say it became a social media sensation. So
Of course.
everybody was wondering, what? And they
Yeah.
wanted to read more about this peacock.
For
They were
sure.
probably complaining too. Who knows?
Probably.
Yeah, but it seems like things really got out of line, though, in the next paragraph when one passenger tried to board with an emotional support animal that had its own second emotional support animal. So I have an emotional support animal, and it's a cat. My cat, however, also has an emotional support animal.
You're a mess that
Yeah,
way.
and I mean, it's just, it just becomes so... And I know that there are
Meow,
some
meow,
people
meow,
that,
yeah.
that genuinely may need this, and I respect that, but I think at that point it gets to be a little bit ridiculous to
I
me.
think even a little suspicious. It sounds like, wait, you wanted to travel with these two animals, and so you said, oh, one's my support, and then the other one is the other animal's support.
Yeah.
So it's, I think some people take advantage of this system.
Yeah,
So perhaps there are a few people that really need an animal,
But
but a
not
lot of
that
people, I
many,
think,
yeah,
are
yeah.
kind of cheating the system and trying to
That's
take peacocks
true,
and goats and everything else.
Yeah.
Well, here is talking about a teenage customer. They were allergic. Now, there are people who are allergic to certain animals, especially cats. But actually, there's some dogs that you're more allergic to than others. And so people who are allergic to those will get a different kind of a pet. But maybe somebody else, maybe you're allergic to cats, and somebody has one on the plane, and they're sitting next to you, will be sneezing the whole time.
Yeah.
Miserable.
So perhaps you could just change seats or something. But here it tells the story of there's a paying customer. She's allergic to a cat that's on the plane. So one of them has to deplane, get off, and it says the cat won. So the cat and its owner stayed on the plane, and the poor girl that was allergic to it had to find another flight.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting here. It shows a picture of a cat here looking out the window. I guess cats, could be interested in looking out and seeing what's going on, but it doesn't seem like a very good thing to put animals on the plane. But I don't like to put them in the baggage either, because you never know. And it's surprising. I don't know what the statistics are, but many animals die when they go in the baggage compartments on planes.
Well, it's true, but you don't hear about the ones that make it safely. I know a lot of people that have traveled with their pets and there hasn't been a problem.
Sure.
But you do need to follow the rules, and you do need to be very careful. Have the dog at the vet first and check, make sure it's healthy enough to fly, and then do your best to take good care of it.
And probably some airlines have better spaces than others. Some just to save space, they don't give them much space.
And I agree, there are probably some animals that won't make it, but I think most of them do. It would always be a little bit. It would make me nervous if I flew with my dogs. But
Well,
still,
can you imagine going through the luggage thing and their dog goes through there and then leave it and they'll be looking at you and they're going to go and wait on some other ramp to get on the plane?
I
don't think
know.
they can understand that. Emotionally, it would be hard for the animal.
I'd just say, oh, you're going to be so happy when you get there.
Yeah.
Well, they say, a lot of animals, I've helped people get their animals to the States that live overseas, that they usually, the vets will give them some kind of medicine to make them a little little bit sleepier so they don't notice what's going on.
Yeah, but check with the vet. I've read, too, you shouldn't give them any sedatives because they're already in stress, and perhaps a sedative might even be worse. So check with your vet and ask what's the best thing to do.
For sure.
Well, there is trouble when you have pets on planes. There's no about that. But there are some changes now because of things that have happened. And so let's find out now what's the latest that we know about this, if you look at page 23, and let's see the big change and see what's going to happen.
The big change. But in the last year or so, there's finally been a big pushback. The airlines banded together to try to ask for a government crackdown. Delta laid down the law in January and then made things even stricter later. Southwest Airlines decided in August, cats and dogs only, plus miniature horses. It's easy to make fun of all of this, but there has also been violence and threats of violence. A Delta passenger was mauled by a dog in 2017, and a dog allegedly bit a young girl on a Southwest Airlines flight. The airlines say they saw a surge in animals barking, biting, nipping, growling, and fighting. Plus, of course, uncontrolled urinating and defecating. All of which brings us to the newest changes that Delta and United made. The new rules. Dogs and cats only as emotional support animals. Dogs, cats, and miniature horses as service animals. No animals at all under 4 months of age, so no kittens and puppies. No emotional support animals on flights over 8 hours.
Well, I guess these are really big changes they're making nowadays.
Yeah, and it's probably about time. So there's finally been a big pushback. So the airline companies are saying, wait, stop, and they're kind of fighting back against these traveling emotional
Yeah, it
support
says here they
animals.
banded together, so they said not just this airline will do this, that airline will do that. Let's get together and make some kind of universal rules that will work on all the planes. Was that a good idea or not?
Yeah, I would say it was. So they were asking for a government crackdown, which here just means they're asking for the government to just step into this situation and start putting some rules out, kind of like fast that are going to become effective immediately. Kind of is what a crackdown is.
They wanted to ask the government if they would crack down and say you can't do this. But Delta, which flies across the ocean to Asia, different places, but locally even, they laid down the law. And that's really a good idiom for you to learn, whether you do pets or not. My father used to lay down the law. And he'd say, you have to be in by 12 o'clock. There's nobody in this family that can be out. There's nothing you need to do after 12. And he laid down the law. If you're going to stay in my house, you have to do that. Did your dad ever lay down the law?
Oh, yeah. No video games on weekdays. Only on weekends. Laid down the law because I wasn't doing my homework. I was just playing video games. So he
What
said,
about you, Hazel? Did anybody lay down the law in your family?
Yeah, I think it was probably my mom that laid down the law in our house.
oh, yeah?
Do this, you don't do that.
Pioneer woman.
And when they said that, man, you had to go by that, didn't you?
Yeah, they laid down the law. You can't argue with that.
So when the government or the airline said, okay, Delta says we're going to make some rules and you're going to have to go by them. So don't try to get us to do something because this is what we're going to do. They laid down the law, didn't they?
Yes, they did. And Southwest Airlines decided something last August. Cats and dogs only, plus miniature horses?
I wouldn't have thought they would make a concession for miniature horses.
What about bunnies? They're kind of small.
Yeah, I'm still wondering why you can't take a bunny on a plane.
I
Maybe
know. I think they'd be better than a miniature horse.
better than a peacock. That's for
Oh,
sure.
yeah, that's for sure.
Well, about the miniature horses, if you look under the new rules, which is the paragraph below, it says cats and dogs only as emotional support animals, And miniature horses are included for service animals. A service animal is different. It's something that can help you for some way.
Right.
So I can't imagine why a miniature horse would help you. Maybe it pulls your wheelchair or something.
Yeah,
I don't know.
something like that.
But
I doubt it.
So there's probably almost no miniature horse
Some
service
people have never
animals,
seen
but there
a
might
miniature
be.
horse.
There might be some.
And that could be included.
I don't know. That seems a little strange.
Yeah.
But
It
they,
does.
somehow the miniature horses made it. They get to be in with the
Yeah,
cats.
they got
and
in. They made the cut.
Lucky for them, right? Yeah.
Maybe I'll bring one over next time.
Yeah, well,
I
I
think
don't
you ought
know.
to.
That'd be fun.
Bring one
You let
over.
me know how it works. I don't think your dogs are going to like that. Your birds.
Keep
and
it in the
everything.
little
Yeah.
courtyard
Yeah.
there.
But and sometimes where you live, they're going to lay down no miniature horses in this apartment. Right? You got to watch that.
Gotta
don't
watch
you?
out.
Yeah. But they made it even stricter, and they said only these animals. Now, it's easy to make fun of all this. You can say that's kind of silly, but it's caused problems.
Yeah, there's been violence and threats of violence. It says here. Now, there's a story here. It mentions about a Delta passenger who was mauled by a dog in 2017. I looked up this article,
Yeah.
and I read a little bit more about it. It was actually, the whole thing was actually quite scary. There was this passenger who had a dog, something like a 40-pound or more dog. It was a very large dog. And the airline had put them in the middle seat, right? And there were people on either side. And this gentleman who got attacked was sitting in the window seat. He came in, he sat down, and as he was trying to buckle his seatbelt, the dog started growling at him. He tried to just ignore it, but the dog kept growling, and then it attacked him, and he couldn't go anywhere because he was in the window seat.
Wow.
So, yeah, he got deplaned. They took him to surgery. He might have to get plastic surgery. It was really a mess,
That seems very strange. I don't think that would happen very often, though.
No, and you would think that, you can put a muzzle on a dog.
Yeah.
So
A
that it
big one
couldn't-
like that.
Couldn't bite or maul someone.
Right.
Yeah, but apparently this one did. And it happened apparently another time when a dog bit a young girl on a Southwest Airlines flight. And so, it's happened. It shouldn't happen because you can just get a muzzle for your dog or something like that. But it's
Well,
happened.
something
enough
probably
times.
upset the dogs. It could have been a whistle or a noise or something.
Of course.
And they get upset.
Yeah.
They don't understand what's going on. They're afraid.
Yeah, they're afraid. They're on an
protecting
airplane.
themselves.
There's nothing familiar about
You
that.
can't talk to the animals. Now you're going to hear a siren outside. They
Mm-hmm.
can't
Some
help. Yeah.
dog breeds are more aggressive than others too. So if you're in a position where you need an emotional support animal like this, and you can choose one, read about the breeds, the size, and find one that would be most
See,
suitable.
it's not
to take
fair
on
to
a home.
animals, really. I don't
No,
think.
Right.
that must be
Yeah.
scary.
Yeah. So that doesn't happen very often, but they still have to watch out. And then, of course, you don't have your kitty litter for the cats to go in and the dogs. And so
Right,
you
yeah.
have to figure out how you're going to handle that.
Yeah.
Especially with bigger animals, uncontrolled urinating, and they don't have toilets for dogs and cats.
Well, they saw a surge, so many more incidents of these things. A surge. It was up higher. Let me just read: barking, biting, nipping, growling, and fighting.
And fighting.
Plus, of course, what you said, the urinating and defecating.
Yeah.
That's I don't know what you'd do if you had a dog that needed to use the
What in the
bathroom.
world? I guess you just get a bag or
Put
something.
diapers on it.
Yeah, but they got to go
diapers.
someplace, I mean, big dog.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about little tiny ones here.
Right.
But all of this, what they're talking about here, it brings this newest change because Delta and United, they said these are the new rules now because of that. And they laid down the law.
Yeah, they laid down the law and they made some new rules.
What's the first one that they said?
Okay, well, that was the first one that Hazel actually mentioned, that dogs and cats only as emotional support animals, no peacocks or miniature horses, but miniature horses are allowed as service animals. So dogs, cats, and miniature horses as service animals.
I don't really know. We should look that up. Why that?
I was just thinking I'm going to look that up and
But
see.
the
Right,
horses,
yeah.
the service animal, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just want to see a picture of a miniature horse on an airplane, and I'll be satisfied. I just want to see what this would look like.
That's
really
right.
tiny. So.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
what they're supposed to do. But the other one, though, the second one,
is no animals at all under 4 months of age. So no kittens and no puppies.
So you got baby dogs or cats, don't even try to put them on the plane. They might meow too much and,
Yeah, they don't really know
they
what
get
they're
scared.
doing. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
babies,
Yeah.
It's hard enough to bring a human baby on a plane.
That's right.
let alone-
They can cry and make a lot of noise on a plane.
Yeah.
I know. They got a place for them. They usually put them up in one certain area.
Try to keep the babies together.
And
What's the
no-
third rule?
No emotional support animals on flights over 8 hours.
They better not try to come out to Asia from the
That's
States.
right.
Yeah.
Takes you 12 hours, 11 hours. And
Yeah. They probably just have to, if in that case, they might have to just take multiple flights.
Yeah.
Like 7 hours here,
Get
7
off,
hours there.
get
7
off
hours
in
there.
Hawaii or something.
Yeah, get off in Hawaii,
Yeah.
do something,
Because sometimes people like to take their animals, but I think people don't like to take their animals on long flights if they don't have to. You don't take your animals when you go back home to visit, do you, Hazel?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
You got too many of them, huh?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about the birds, too? They're not...
Actually, I don't know. I don't even know
I
if
think
they
they better
can
just
go
not go on
from here
vacation.
to the States.
How about that?
Legally.
I don't think they're little. They got such little lungs. I just feel like that high up, all that pressure
No,
changes.
but I mean, there's a lot of restrictions on
Yeah.
how birds can travel because of bird flu and things like that. So
Oh, that's true.
before they were quarantined, and there were a lot of very strict rules. Now,
And your
it might
birds
be
talk. They might
less.
want to talk in the middle
Yeah,
of the night.
they like talking. They'd
Singing.
wake up the people sleeping on the plane and say, "What you doing? What you doing?" And
What you doing?
you start singing opera or something.
But you can bring a miniature horse, though. You better
Yeah.
get one of those.
Yeah, you can't bring your parrot, but you can bring
Yeah,
your
you could
horse.
can't bring a little bird, but you could bring a horse. I don't
It's
know.
a thought.
I don't know. They laid down the law, so we
Yeah.
better- if you got a miniature horse, you're okay, but not if you got a bird.
Not if you got a bird.
Okay. Well, this has been kind of a fun, interesting article, but we did do some good idioms and things here, and we talked about bonding with your animals and drawing the line and laying down the law, and all of which is to say that no matter what subject we study, there's a lot that we can learn as far as English is concerned.
Yeah, and that's what makes it so much fun for us to teach you guys is that a lot of times, we get to learn with you. We kind of learn new phrases, remember things we haven't seen in a while, and it's
yeah,
it's
like
great to
seeing
be on
miniature horses on planes. That's something new to me.
It's great to be on this journey together.
That's right. So there's a lot of perks to reading Studio Classroom. Sometimes you learn about your pets, and sometimes vocabulary, all kinds of things.
And in the long run, you save money if you just get the magazine and you don't have to go to Sambushiban.
Right.
In the long run, yeah.
So remember, listen in every day and be with us, and we're glad to have you with us. And we hope that being with Studio Classroom will help you down the road in the future, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
As well as enjoy it now. So thanks for being with us these last couple of days, and Hazel, and it's good to have had you with us. Do you enjoy being on the programs, all of you?
Absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, okay.
And we hate to say goodbye, but it looks like it's
Looks like
almost
the
time.
time's up, so we have to say goodbye for now. So we'll see you next time for a new lesson, and be sure to tune in every day. Goodbye for now.
Goodbye.